We alive.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is the Four Horsemen Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode number 22, Week 9 preview. We'll be doing our fantasy stock watch, going over our DK lineups, talking some games. Today is November 3rd, 2016. It's about 9:45 p.m., about an hour later than we wanted to start, but joined tonight by Alex Deviney Stoner. What's up, dude?
The Four Horsemen back together.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's all four of us.
Yeah, finally. Got Josh Van Cleve. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Pretty excited to be here.
Got Brent Walker. How are you, sir?
I am pretty good as well.
Awesome. Yeah, last week it was Alex and Josh flying with themselves without me and Brent. So
Flying with themselves.
Yeah.
sounds like we were having some creepy beat off. What?
Is that not what was going on?
I mean, it did
No,
get pretty intense.
It was intense. We talked a lot about Brock. A lot of Brock.
So I'm not gonna lie, I didn't listen to it. So I still plan on listening to it at some point. But yeah,
I know. And somehow we still went an hour and 20 minutes. I don't even know.
Well, it's
We
'cause
should have been 40 minutes. I was worried that it was going to be like half an hour and we were going to be done. Nope.
I would have bet the over on that 100 times out of 100. So I never would have gone the other way. But so let's start off with my random question, which is not so random this week. I actually got an email from Dustin Rogers, one of our loyal listeners. So I was pretty excited about that. And he wanted to know, would you ever take your opponent's quarterback into consideration when selecting your starters? For example, your opponent is starting Carr, and you're choosing between Michael Crabtree and Stefan Diggs. Do you guys care about that? Would you ever care about that?
I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it happen before. It does offset. So especially if you're facing a team that has a lot of firepower, it kind of neutralize that a little bit. Especially if you have a Drew Brees or a David, whatever Carr is still in the NFL, with Derek Carr. I think that it's something that you can use in your arsenal. Yeah, it kind of cancels itself out, but if you already know that this team is going to put up a lot of points and you want to try to neutralize their biggest asset, which could be their quarterbacks, I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah, would you ever sit somebody because your opponent's starting?
It would
your
depend
best
on
wide receivers?
like in the case of what you just said.
Yeah.
I would start Crabtree over Diggs more likely than not anyway, just simply because I'm not really a fan of the Minnesota offense. But I mean, it really does depend. Like, I'm not gonna sit Julio for a Crabtree. I wouldn't even sit Julio for Amari Cooper. So it just kind of depends on what you have and what you're kind of battling, I guess.
All right, you guys have an opinion?
No, I think Alex said it well. I think I agree with that. I mean, you're not going to sit your star players to try to neutralize the other team. I guess if it was maybe more of a murky situation, but you don't not start your studs.
Right.
I mean,
that's the thing. I would never like Alex was saying, never sit somebody that I thought was awesome. But if I'm using it as a tiebreaker or in like a situational where you're looking at the team matchup and it makes sense.
Especially if you're in like bye week mode and you're trying to make that decision, like, okay, do I go this guy or that guy? And you're like, well, if my wide receiver goes for over 100 yards and gets a few touchdowns, it cancels out their touchdowns and I get more on the yardage anyway. So I mean, there's definitely a case to be made.
Awesome. Well, Dustin, thank you for the email. I liked it. I told you guys last week that I would use it, and then I didn't show up for the podcast, so I kind of let everybody down. It's very disappointing, so I apologize. But I thought that was a good one. Let's go ahead and get into our fancy stock watch. The stock is up on LaShawn McCoy after missing last week. McCoy returned to practice on Thursday. All reports indicate that pending a setback, LaShawn's going to return for the Bills on Monday night. Good, because Gillislee was not good.
Yeah, no. You definitely didn't have like a great backup. if you were throwing him in there instead of McCoy.
Yeah, a lot of people were pumped up for that low DraftKings salary, and then
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think this is where I still think that getting rid of Carlos Williams was kind of a mistake. I think they could have held up a lot better if they had Williams as the backup versus Gilsey.
yeah, especially because he was so hyped. But he was fat and
It's true.
was not ready. Next stock watch. The stock's down on Jamal Charles. Knee injury is going to sideline him for at least another 8 weeks. I mean, we kind of been talking about he's old.
He's
coming
done.
off 2 ACLs. He might be done
He's
forever.
done. He's done.
So I think it's safe to drop him.
Yeah.
If you have an IR spot that's open, there's other people almost rather put on IR than Jamal Charles. He's disappointing.
Chris Johnson. You'd rather put on Chris Johnson.
I mean, would you want to keep him in Dynasty, though, or not?
Like I said, if you have an open IR that's not filled, I'm okay with it. But
I think as far as I understand keeping AP because he that his injury history is not extensive, but Jamal Charles is extensive, and it's now 2 seasons that he can't play. I'm done with Charles.
Well, one thing too, I think the difference between AP and Jamal Charles, just real quick before we move on, but AP really just has nobody behind him that's really challenging him for the spot. Whereas Kansas City, you have Spencer Ware and some Sharkardrick West who kind of actually pushing Jamal Charles, and they actually re-sign those guys as backups, so that you can tell that they have faith in their backups and they could be easily take that spot over.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out this week because Spencer Ware has also been banged up. But if he plays, I have a hard time starting Sharkandrick West over Spencer Ware, just with what Ware has done so far this season.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Sharkandrick over West until I see more, or Ware over Ware.
Yeah, I agree. Next, fantasy stock watch. The stock is up on Des Bryant. Bryant went over 100 yards on 4 catches in his first action in the last 4 weeks. That was very good to see with his as good as Dak Prescott's been, Alex. It was nice to see him get one of his top wide receivers back, and for him to actually show something moving forward. Brent, do you think that Dez is right on that upper echelon again, or is he more of a wide receiver 2 for you at this point?
You could consider him a back end wide receiver 1. I think just based on that offense, the running game is definitely going to open up the passing game for sure. With Ezekiel Elliott, he's just been dominating so much on the ground game that it's opening up a lot of things in that passing game. And along with Dak Prescott's running ability too, I think Des Bryant could be a fantasy relevant player once again, as long as he's healthy.
Yeah, I think people that sat on him that whole time were real happy with last week's performance. So me as a Des Bryant owner, I was glad to see it. So,
I mean, so now do you, since, because that was kind of a concern with being a rookie quarterback that I know we mentioned that he's not, doesn't show that, I don't know if it's explosiveness or the big play kind of abilities as for being a rookie quarterback. But now since he has Dez, I think I can see that relationship can be developed, and I think it could be a good thing going forward, especially for next season.
Yeah, I think it's smart for the Cowboys to keep going with Dak now. See what they got in him. You know what I mean? Like, as much.
Well, I don't even think see what they got him. I think they know what they got in him, but I think that they know he's healthy.
Like, it's easy to pass that on so quick that he's like, the next.
I'm not saying his next coming, but I think they know what they have in him because he's played majority of the season, so they know what his abilities, and they know that they can win with him. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's like. I don't even say he's better than Romo. I'm just saying Romo's hurt constantly. The Cowboys are winning. They have good chemistry right now. Why squander that with switching that out?
Well, I mean, Romo's been the face of your organization for what, like the last, 8 years. It's pretty much if they don't go back to Romo this season, they're saying, we're done. We're moving on. We've made our decision. So I think it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a big deal. Yeah, I just I don't know. I think that the way they're playing, the way they're leading the division right now, it's hard to switch that
Right.
up.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that momentum.
No, and it. But that's the thing is like because Roman he was great with it and when he was in and stuff, but he's injured constantly. You don't want to rush him back in that if you did, and I don't know if it's necessarily Dak's team now, but I don't think you can pull him right now, especially that big win over the Eagles.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. So, like you said, he may not have the most big play potential, but it'll be good to see what Dez brings to the team now. He's a pretty emotional dude, so he could lift him up. But let's go ahead and move into our Week 9 preview. Before I do that, follow us on Twitter, guys. It's 4 Horsemen Pod. That's the number 4, not the number 4, but it is the number 4. Horseman Pod. Also, you can send us emails for horsemanpod@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys getting on there. I've actually gotten a few now, and I will not continue to let you down. I will be on top of it. So this week we're not going to do our Thursday game because it's already going on right now, which is looks like a pretty good shootout between the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Just going off our pick'ems. You guys all took the Falcons. I was the lone Buccaneers supporter. So
Looks like you're sitting pretty.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Falcons scored again. So I think it's 21 or 20-14 now. So I also wanted to talk about our pick'em so far for the year. We didn't. I don't know if you guys did it last year or last week because you didn't have my picks. So
We just did ours.
You just did yours?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go over it, but I just wanted to give you a year or so far for the year. Brent is now in the lead at 69-49-2. I am 1 game behind him at 68-50-2. Van Cleve, you're just 4 games back at 65-53-2.
Yes.
Alex, you're 15 games back at 64-2. But listen, there's still time for you to make this up.
There's plenty of football left.
Football.
You got this, buddy. I just wanted you to know.
Wow, I took a big jump up.
Yeah.
That's right. This last week I called it good.
Yeah, good job. Like I said, I didn't even look back at it again. I've been such a slacker here lately. But so let's talk a little football. The first game on the slate, Lions at Vikings. Lions pass defense been pretty terrible. Alex, what do you think, Sam Bradford? You think he could actually have a game this week?
No. I don't think that Bradford is good. I think that he's had opportunities, and outside that one game, that his first start against Green Bay, not a whole lot. He can't get. You still have a number 1 wide receiver or a first-round draft pick that you still haven't done anything with, and I don't care what the coaches say about his preparedness. Your offense is stagnant. Put him in there. Like, I don't understand, not to get completely off topic, but I don't understand holding these young players back. LA is outrageous right now because they've got 4 guys that I don't understand why they're not playing. But, play your young guys. And honestly, I think that for Minnesota, they started out 5-0. They've lost 2 in a row now. Is it 2 in a row? Right? Or is it 3 in a row? Yeah, 2 in a row. And I mean, they've looked terrible doing it. So I think that you're kind of looking at the same situation that that first year of what's that terrible coach that is the OC of the Patriots, McDaniels. When McDaniels went 6-0 with Denver and then they ended up missing the playoffs, I think that you're going to be looking at a situation like that. The defense can't hold up everything all the time. So honestly, there's nothing about Minnesota that really excites me at all.
Yeah, I would like to see them get Treadwell in there. So it's disappointing. Anybody that drafted Treadwell this year thought they were going to get some sort of production. Obviously, for Dynasty, you're okay pushing him on there and not getting too much, but still, you don't like to see the way that they run it.
You think that he would have had 500-600 yards and a few touchdowns, maybe like 40 catches or something. Like, the fact that we're halfway through and nothing, like that. He's a first-round draft choice at wide receiver. There is no excuse. You can't tell me you whiffed that bad. You just can't.
I tend to think that's more on the coaches than the players.
Yeah.
When they're especially when they're first round, because they have the physical talents there, and they just need to be coached up better. I know Zimmerman's a defensive minded coach, but he should put the coaching staff around that offense so that they can develop them. And maybe that's why Minnesota hasn't been able to develop wide receivers. I mean, they get like these hit one or two people, and that's just maybe because of the physical abilities.
A lot of one and dones.
Yeah,
a lot of one season and done.
And maybe that has to do more with coaching than it does the actual players.
Yeah, it's too bad, but
just a lot of talent on that team, and nothing
really is. I mean, they can't run the ball though.
Yeah,
right now.
That's a big problem.
Their offensive line is horrid.
Yeah.
It is terrible. But so Brent, Van Cleve, and myself all took the Vikings. Alex, you took the Lions. So
I think I'm going to lose.
Yeah, you hate the Vikings, I think.
Well,
so.
I mean,
you hate Sam Bradford.
Well, yeah. I mean, another thing is that Detroit has not looked very good lately either. That offense should be way better than what it is. Honestly, again, I'm gonna throw this on coaching. I think Caldwell is one of the worst coaches in the league, and I think he needs to go.
He is not a good coach. So,
yeah.
Let's go next game. Eagles at Giants. We all took the Eagles, so I'll go ahead and get that out of the way right away. But Brent, what jumps off the page about this game for you?
The Giants are coming off of a bye, so I'm wondering if they made any improvements to that offense. It seemed like their passing game was starting to click a little better right before the bye with Beckham, but I don't know. They need to get that running game going, I think, and they have a good stretch here where it's a little bit easier defenses here the next 3, 4, 5 weeks against the run. So if they can get that running game opened up, I think it'll open up their passing game.
How are they going to open up that running game? Who are they going to have?
It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
However, Matt Jones did have a 100-yard game against the Eagles. So, I mean, Bobby Rainey time? Is that?
Yeah.
He's getting involved in that passing game.
Yeah, he is.
Honestly,
he's the only running back that I would even consider if you had zero options. If you had a really deep, 16-team league and you needed somebody and Bobby Rainey was out there, grab him. But outside of that, the Giants are garbage at running.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
So I think right before the podcast we were talking Josh Huff, gone. Doesn't play for the Eagles anymore. Is that what the report was?
Yeah, he doesn't play for but he was waived, but he was barely involved in the passing game half the time. I mean, I think he's had one game where he was – I don't know if he was a leading receiver or if he was just up there. He's not a big-time guy. I was shocked. I didn't hear about all the situation that was going on, but right now, those Eagles receivers, I don't trust any of them.
I mean, Jordan Matthews hasn't been bad.
He's been all right, but they're frustrating because honestly, they just look like an Andy Reid team right now, which is just this boring, vanilla garbage. I'm not happy. The first 3 weeks, it was like they were thrown all over the place, looking great. Now, just dropping the ball constantly. Check down after check down after check down. I could not I was having a hard time watching that game because everything was a check down. So, I mean, Darren Sproles.
Yeah.
It's hard to trust anyone on that Eagles offense, really. Their tight ends aren't doing anything. The running backs are so spread out. Darren Sproles received most of the volume this past week, but Ryan Matthews had 3 rushes and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So it's so ridiculous there. I don't know how to predict anything there.
Well, I heard his role is going to be reduced with Ryan Matthews.
How can you reduce it much more?
Yeah.
I mean, well, the thing is that what sucks is that they put Smallwood out there, 1 carry, fumble, and that was a big fumble. So, I mean, it's what they just can't get anybody to just hold on to the football long enough to actually produce. And
Darren
it's
Sproles.
Yeah, I mean, as much Sproles is not that big name guy, but like he's at least reliable.
yeah.
Like
Well,
when he does good.
You can I think these past couple of weeks, with as much bias on we have going on in NFL and the injuries, I think Sproles can be a flex or RB2 with upside.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Let's move on to the next game. Jets at Dolphins. Van Cleve. We're talking Tannehill a little bit before the show. Jets are pretty terrible passing defense.
I still think that Tannehill's going to have a tougher time. I haven't seen much out of him this year. He just has looked just terrible. I don't know what's going on because it's Adam Gase. So is Adam Gase can't do much with not much talent, or what is that? But it's just Tannehill hasn't been looking pretty good. So I know it's against a horrible Jets defense, and their secondary is rough. But I think they can get after that quarterback, and I think if they can get after Tannehill, I think they'll shake him up.
Is Jarvis Landry good? Like, I don't even know anymore.
Yes, he's good. Tannehill's bad.
Yeah,
I'm gonna blame it.
So.
I'm gonna blame it on his hot wife.
Yeah,
Just blame it. I mean, he's waiting to get home. I mean, he lives in Florida, so his hot wife can just run around in bikinis all day. I wouldn't want to go to work either.
let's get this game over with.
Yeah,
I got
let's
places
get
to
home.
be, beaches
Oh
to go
my
lay out.
gosh. Yeah.
I don't know. I I really like Jarvis Landry, and it pains me to see this. So
Do you start a J.I. in this matchup?
how do you not? He's coming
Yeah.
off, a couple 200-yard games. I don't see how you sit him.
I almost wonder if they're gonna. I don't know if they just gonna try to stack the box against them, so Tannehill may have an open lane to pass, but I still don't think Tannehill can do it though. Even if they stack the box against the JA.
I don't know. They'd have to get after Tannehill. If they can get after him and get to him some, then it might change things up. But you can't. I don't think you can bench Ajay this week. You gotta start him.
Yeah.
At least, and don't feel bad about it if he craps out on you. But like, you don't want to be the dude that didn't start him and he goes for another 150-yard game. He's looked good. So
Yeah.
all of us took the Dolphins except for Van Cleve took the Jets. So
Jets.
I hate the Jets.
I think this is worse than I was actually more excited about the Browns Jets versus the Dolphins Jets. I don't know why. Like I was just like, to me, this just sounds. Ugh.
I feel like everybody hates the Dolphins. Like, no, are there Dolphins fans still? Dan Marino, maybe. I don't know.
I think we have maybe one that we were associated with.
Is he still a Dolphins fan? I don't know. I'd be jumping off that train as quick as I could. Let's go to the next game. Jaguars at Chiefs. Alex, I guess you'll be the one to talk about this one. Alex Smith leading that Chiefs team against a terrible Jaguars.
Well, he's not going to be Alex Smith.
Oh, is he done? Is he not playing this week?
Yeah, he's hurt.
He was ruled out.
Mm-hmm. So Nick Foles.
I mean,
Alex loves him some Nick Foles.
I was going to say.
Yuck.
Nick Foles looked good against the Colts.
Yeah.
But
who doesn't look good against the Colts?
Yeah.
He got Jeremy Maclin involved. He got Kelsey involved.
Kelsey looked really good.
Even that new that rookie wide receiver from Kansas City got involved.
Yeah. Well, and there is Maclin going to even play? I don't think he's practiced.
I don't even know what's wrong with Maclin.
Who knows?
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. And there's nothing that you can say to me that's going to make me get excited about a Kansas City wide receiver.
Like I want to though. That's the problem. Like I want to, but but I can't.
Well, we've talked about this. It's that unknown. It's that is this the next big thing? The problem is that because it's Andy Reid and he has Alex Smith and Nick Foles isn't going to throw for 350, 400 yards, and it's at best you're going to get 1 week every 4 where that one of those guys blows up. I mean, Kelsey's been completely non-existent all season and had a great week this week. I mean, Van Cleve, we were bashing the crap out of him in the podcast. I just think that there's nothing to get excited about. And on the other side of the ball, you said they're against the Raiders, right?
No, Jaguars.
Jaguars. On the other side of the ball, you're going to play your Jaguars because they can throw up tons of yards in garbage time. It can be 28 to nothing at halftime, and then Bortles will put up 350 yards.
What's wrong with Allen Robinson?
I don't know.
If they're having all this garbage time, I don't understand it.
He looks like he's visibly frustrated on the field.
Yeah.
Like slamming his helmet down because Blake Bortles can't throw the ball. The
Blake Bortles
function of
sucks.
throwing a football does not click with Blake Bortles.
Well,
like he sorry, go on.
One issue that they have is they cannot run the ball. I mean, that's a big problem in Jacksonville. If they had a running game that actually, I mean, there's nothing they're not going to stack the box against Jacksonville because their running game is so terrible. And so I think that, you end up with Bortles having to throw all over the place. And yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to admit that he's not looked like what I thought he was going to look like this year. But also I would like to see, a game where they can run the ball or protect him a little bit. And it just hasn't happened.
Real quick here before we move on, Bortles has been inaccurate in balls all over the place. Like the catches that Robinson has, he's had to make acrobatic catches with him and pull him down, and it's sad to see because a lot of people draft him at like the end of the first or high second, and he's not producing, and I think that's because of his quarterback play.
Yeah, I was just reading a report that came out on Halloween that Bortles is flying in his quarterback coach again, to work on his mechanics some more.
And ask why he got the Tim Tebow version and not the Drew Brees version.
Dude, but like, have you watched him? His mechanics are terrible. Like, the way that he delivers the ball, it just takes him forever to get the ball out of his hands. He's not picking it up. I don't understand why a quarterback would be flying in his own guy and why the coaching staff wouldn't already be trying to work on it. I don't understand it. I mean, I know I hate the Jaguars. Yeah.
And that's maybe why haven't been successful.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, he's now his third or fourth year in?
Just
Bortles.
Third.
Yeah.
Third, I think.
I know he's still young, but you'd hope that you have better mechanics by now.
Yeah, it's gonna be real tough to change that at this point. I feel like he's gonna revert back to what he knows, and what he knows sucks. So it's too bad because I was all on Allen Robinson this year. I really thought that garbage time was gonna help out. We thought that they were gonna have a little bit of an improved defense, and that would be why maybe they wouldn't pass as much. But
they just look bad. They just look terrible.
The AFC South is pretty bad just in general.
And I thought it was going to be amazing. Yeah. I really thought it was going to be good.
It's not.
Tennessee's actually not looking that bad.
It's sad that the Titans are the best. Like,
yeah. Even though I think Houston has a better record, I think Titans actually are a little bit better of a team.
Houston sucks, but
their defense is good. I think that's what's keeping them in the games.
Yeah, it's not even that good. But anyways, we all picked the Chiefs except for Alex picked the Jaguars. So he's still on his Jaguars, guys. So he's not giving up yet.
He's got to do something. He's like 15 games behind.
I don't blame him. Brent, next game, Cowboys at Browns. I already kind of alluded to the fact that I think Prescott this week is going to be good. Ezekiel Elliott going to run all over the Browns.
This has the making of one of those games where they get up so much and they pull all of their starters
after the first half.
Yeah, exactly. You have to start all of your Cowboys in this matchup. I think Cleveland's defense is terrible, but they made an improvement by getting Jamie Collins, maybe, which was just kind of out of the blue, out of nowhere. But definitely an improvement for their defense for sure. but I don't think it's going to be a dramatic improvement to have you sit any of your Cowboys this week. On the Cleveland side of the ball is if Josh McCown's in this game, I think it's a more competitive game because I think they throw the ball more. Whereas if it's Cody Kessler, I think it just gets out of hand real quick.
I mean, if they put
what's
Kessler
going on?
in there, he's going to get injured again anyways.
True. They're both going to start.
Sorry, go ahead.
What were you going to say, Van Cleef?
I was just going to say, why wouldn't they go with McCown, the veteran quarterback?
They hate McCown for some reason.
Everybody hates McCown.
Why though? He actually plays. He can manage the game. You know, he's actually can't show that he can produce. I mean, like look what he did last week with the Jets.
I don't know. Maybe he's a douche.
I heard
he's just like a dumb dude. He just looks dumb to me, but
I actually heard I think he's a good locker room guy. From what
really?
I heard. Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Me being in the locker room.
Now I feel guilty for saying that.
You know,
I don't know. Like you do want to see it, like especially for Corey Coleman's coming back this week. You want to see that pass offense do well, and McCown obviously can chuck the ball. He's proven that for the last couple of years. So, but anything on the other side? Jason Witten, you think he could be a top tight end this week?
No.
No?
Why not?
I don't know. I
He
hate
hasn't had a
Witten.
real big
You
week
do.
yet.
I
He's
hate
gonna have
Witten.
one.
I feel like he's due for one.
he's old, so
Maybe.
Alex doesn't like him.
He's old and he's on the Cowboys. I hate them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it just being a thrashing though. I mean, the Browns are terrible. Everybody knows that. So
Yeah.
I would, like Brent said, start all your Cowboys. Don't worry about it.
Or this
Roll
could
them
be
out
the greatest trap game ever. And,
Yeah.
And the Cowboys just get obliterated like 38-10. That would be amazing.
It very well could be. But we all took the Cowboys, so none of us think that's going to happen.
No.
The last 1 o'clock game on the slate, the Steelers at Ravens, looks like Ben Roethlisberger is going to be back. So,
Doesn't this feel like last year?
yeah,
Like
a lot like it.
It's like, I don't know. It just feels like they should have gotten a better backup so that they could, I mean, because they're trying to pull out the last few years of Big Ben. Last 2 years been injury plagued. But I mean, when he's playing, he's still at the top of his game. But I don't know. It just seems like they're trying to rush him back because they want to get into the playoffs. They want to get to the Super Bowl. And, in 2 weeks, he's going to have another issue. And he's just – I think that he needs to take more time than, like, the small amount that he's – I don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
I would just be mindful that Big Ben, he's coming back. He's had a couple weeks of rest, obviously, but that was because of a surgery. And they are on the road, and Big Ben never plays well on the road as opposed to at home.
Yeah. I was listening to something on road splits. He's like 2 touchdowns less a game, 60 yards passing less a game. He's just not, his road splits are not good. Same with Antonio Brown, but just because of Roethlisberger so bad, I think people wanted to see Roethlisberger back to lift Brown back up. I know his DK price has been dropping, so far from the $10,000 that he was 3 weeks ago. But we all picked the Steelers, but I feel like Ravens could pull this game out.
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be so much hype on Roethlisberger coming back. But
I don't know. I think what Ravens are what they are. Because, I mean, they started out undefeated, and now I think they're 500 or under.
like you
They're
said,
kind of a crappy team. I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
There's nothing
they're mediocre.
Nice. Yeah, there's nothing that's like that stands out that they're super good.
What's going on with Perriman? I mean, you've Steve Senior, who's been out, and really no wide receivers emerging from that. You have Wallace.
Mike Wallace.
I mean,
no, Mike Wallace is a G. I've been kind of impressed with Mike Wallace. I think he's played well this year.
Well, yeah, because he's got a quarterback that can bomb the ball when it goes deep.
That's what he does best.
Exactly, and so he's going to have good games when they can connect on that.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Kamar Aiken's not emerging like we thought he was going to.
Nothing.
Sure, I mean, it's really just Wallace, but can you count on Wallace week in and week out?
I think if Steve Smith's out, you can start Wallace pretty confidently this week. I'd feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I think I did actually start him in one. I don't know. My big problem is that with the entire offense, we were hoping by now we would have some clear indication. Terrence West, he puts up, a ton of points, then he's a complete bust. And where is Kenneth Dixon at? What's going on with him? Why can't they get Perriman going? Why can't they get somebody? Why is Aiken completely disappeared? Like, what is this team? And honestly, until that shakes out, I think the only real start is Wallace. And if Senior comes back and can, kind of, but even still, Senior is kind of just what Wallace is now. Like, he's not catching a ton. He's just getting those big bombs as well. So I don't know.
I mean, he's just falling apart physically too.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a tough dude, so you can't ever count him out. I think that this could be a Le'Veon Bell game, though, too. I think he could end up being the top scoring running back, even with Ezekiel Elliott in the position he's in. Just they use him so much. If Ben, coming back from his injury, just dump offs and pass, using him out of the slot. They use Le'Veon Bell like you want to see them using a fantasy football player. Like, that's what you want to see. So
yeah.
Well, like I said, we all took the Steelers. So next game, Saints at 49ers, starting off our 4 p.m. games. Van Cleve, 49ers, terrible. Drew Brees doesn't normally perform as well on the road. What happens?
I think Saints are going to be all over on them because I don't think they have a defense to stop the Saints. Yeah, Drew Brees has been horrible, but, going against that San Francisco defense, I think that he's able to light him up. I think you're starting Hyde with caution just because how he's questionable. But I think that you can start him against the Saints. I think he has a good matchup with that. I think you can start Mike Thomas, and that's a wide receiver 2, and Braden Cooks. But as far as a running back situation goes for New Orleans, that kind of scares me. I'm not sure. They say Mark Ingram's his role is going to be reduced. To what, though? We don't know. Tim Hightower coming in. I mean, we've seen Tim Hightower last year when he came in as relief for injury, he played well. Does that mean that's what he's going to be doing? He's going to be more of the main role back. We don't know that yet, and I'd be scared to play him.
Yeah, the thing about Tim Hightower that I like is that I feel like he wants it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when he gets his chance, like he's put in the work and he performs. And you gotta, especially as a coach, I feel like you can't just ignore that. Mark Ingram has not been good.
Yeah, he's been terrible.
And I thought he was gonna be good this year, and has not worked out that way. So I don't know. Me personally, I know that I'm starting Ingram in a couple leagues that I've been dealing with David Johnson buys and have not had much on my bench. It's not a bad situation to start him in.
No, I think in that situation where you have buys, you have injuries, and you have to have start a running back. Mark Ingram's a good choice rather than going to the waiver wire. Absolutely. So
Hightower or Ingram?
Man, maybe Hightower. Just because what's been coming out with that. Maybe they're going to try putting Hightower out there to try to motivate Ingram to do it. So
yeah.
We'll see.
I feel like even if you don't start Hightower this week, he needs to be rostered. We've talked about handcuffs quite a bit and how important they are.
Oh, for sure, he needs to be rostered, especially if you're Mark Ingram owner. I think if you just pick him up by himself, I think it's maybe a wait and see unless you have to play him.
Yeah.
So
I just want to throw out there that Romain, you have Ingram top 12 in one of our things, but it's okay because I also have Blake Bortles top 12, so those are canceling each other out. You also have Michael Floyd top 15.
Yeah, that's not panning out is the way I thought that was going to.
We need to go back to our pre-rankings and see where the players are at and where we said they were at.
I don't want to relive it. I've been looking at some of my MFL 10s that I did like real early in the season. I'm like, why did I think that was going to be the case? Michael Floyd, I'm looking at you.
All
But,
in. He just pushed all the chips. As soon as
I-
somebody said Michael Floyd, like, I'm all in. I'm
Yeah,
ready to go.
I loved him. I still do. I can't quit him. I don't know why. He's like a
Can't quit
drug.
you.
I just keep going back.
He's a really terrible. He's basically like meth. He's not a good high. He's not good at. I mean, there's nothing good about him, but you still just can't quit it.
Just an update, score update. It's still 20-14. Julio is now over 100 yards,
Good for Julio.
and they are in the red zone right now. So could
Good
be
for
anybody's. Could be Devontae or could be Julio on this touchdown.
Julio's okay. He's an okay wide receiver.
Yeah, he ain't bad.
Pretty good.
He's
Pretty good.
decent. We all took the Saints in that game, by the way. 49ers suck. So next game, Panthers at Rams. Brent, any storyline jump out at you from that game? Panthers have been pretty shitty. Rams
They
suck.
I mean, Panthers have been pretty shitty. They came off the bye last week and performed pretty well against Arizona.
Yeah.
That's not saying too much because Arizona hasn't been all that great either. Cam Newton, actually, I really like what I saw from Jonathan Stewart, believe it or not. He's getting red zone carries, goal line carries, and he's putting up some touchdowns, and he's getting a good volume too, getting some like 20, 25 rush per game kind of stats. So I like what I see from Jonathan Stewart going forward. Against the Rams, who are coming off bye, I mean, it's the Rams. You just got to hope that maybe they're getting Gurley more involved.
Yeah, Gurley's been kind of a disappointment, but I still, if you can find somebody to sell him, I buy him.
Yeah.
I think that he's still got the potential to in the rest of the season and meet that where you thought he was going to end up. He's still going to put some of those stats up. So
Again, I think it has to do with the coaching thing.
Yeah.
Why is golf not out there?
yeah,
It's not like they're leading the division. They're in playoff hunt and stuff like that. Why
we
aren't
talked
they?
about how Caldwell is a terrible coach. Jeff Fisher is the king of terrible coaches.
He's the king of mediocrity.
He's the leader of trash. He's the
king of all trash.
He's the king of trash. He's got a sweet mustache. That's about as far as it goes. He's just not he's very mediocre. He's the definition of mediocre.
Is it okay? You have all this young talent that you guys drafted. Why aren't you seeing any of that to see what you have? Because it's not like you're winning with what you have. I mean, they got rookie wide receivers, rookie tight ends, a rookie quarterback, a second-year running back. It's a young team, yes, but it could be potentially a lot of talent. We don't know.
Yeah, they need to get rid of Fisher, in my opinion.
But they just signed a extension with him.
That's the stupidest thing we could have ever done. But whatever. We all took the Panthers in that game. So, like Brent said, Jonathan Stewart has been good, but the dude falls apart. He's not can't stay healthy. Cam, you're never gonna sit Cam. So I don't think I wouldn't. So let's move on to the next game. Colts at Packers. Alex, do you think this is going to be a blowout? I feel like it lines up
honestly, I kind of see this as being a super boring game.
Yeah.
And the reason is just because Green Bay is pretty good on defense. And then on offense, neither one of these teams really has a great identity. They can't really – well, Gore's been kind of coming on lately, but, not a lot of run game, a lot of passing, but you're not getting a great consistency out of Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, the last couple games, he's just been using those short passes to move the ball down the field. He's been putting up good stats the last two games.
Yeah. And I think one of the things is you went out and you got the two wide receivers that you would assume would be good on Green Bay, and they really haven't been amazing. And now I think it's a guessing game. Is it going to be Ty Montgomery because he's taking stuff out of the backfield? Is it going to be Devontae Adams? It's such a murky situation there. On the other side of the ball, I think that you're really happy if you're a Moncrief owner. He came back, looked good. Definitely what they've been missing. Ty got hurt in that game.
Yep.
But I think that he's supposed to be okay. From what I was looking, I don't know.
Yeah, I know he practiced full today.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully he'll be in there for you. Outside of that, I think you're kind of focusing more on Colts players than you are Green Bay players, simply because of we don't know. I don't know who's gonna blow up. So I think that if I was gonna throw a dart at a board and say, okay, who am I gonna start? I'm probably going to say Montgomery, simply because he's, taking stuff out of the backfield. If he starts, he was a scratch last week. So I don't know.
Yeah, man. I say give me Devontae Adams. I'm still riding that train until it derails. But normally when I'm looking,
where was this last year?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, but
I don't understand them.
He's just getting so many catches, it's hard to sit him. But what I wanted to say was normally when I'm looking at like filling out my lineups, I'm looking to see what team's playing the Colts, and I want to start their running back. Packers cut Niall Davis, and James Stark's coming back. Like, what are they just going to keep throwing out of the backfield?
That is just kind of, I don't understand that at all. Like, you want to get a running back in there. I don't know. Like, Green Bay is kind of frustrating right now. I don't really like that team, and they should be a team that you're like, oh man, I'm starting this player. I'm starting. You might be starting, a running back and a wide receiver, maybe the quarterback. And now you just, I don't know. I don't know what to make of the team. So other than Aaron Rodgers, who I still think that is a must start, just because he's Aaron Rodgers and he can put up those numbers, I don't know who else to go with.
Yeah, me personally, I'm rolling out Devontae Adams in a lot of leagues. So I love Ty Montgomery. It's just his health worries me.
Yeah.
So we all took the Packers except for Van Cleef was the only one that was able to stay true to his roots and take the Colts.
Staying true.
So good for you, Van Cleef. I'm proud of you.
It's respect.
Go blue.
Yeah, I really think that we're going to get annihilated.
To be honest with you, I don't feel good about it, but
last game on the 4:00 slate, the Titans at Chargers. Looks like DeMarco Murray is going to be healthy. I know they've talked about Derrick Henry getting more involved this week.
I could see it.
You hesitating at all on?
I'm probably going to have to start both DeMarco Murray and because I picked up CJ Prosise, but he's going to be reception dependent in the Seattle game. So I'm.
But if there's any handcuffs to start like two back-to-back running backs, I would go with those two running backs against that San Diego run defense. Yeah.
Bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
I could see the Titans. I don't know. And then the other side of the ball, Chargers, Melvin Gordon still looks horrible, I think, but continues to get volume and put up points. I don't think you can bench him either.
Yeah.
Even though he's looked god-awful. Passing-wise, Phillip Rivers, who's he going to throw to this week?
It's hard to tell. I mean,
yeah,
Tyrell Williams is out there, but he's banged up. Travis Benjamin's out there. He's banged up. Antonio Gates moves slow as hell. And then there's Hunter Henry, who just hurt his knee too and wasn't practicing this week. So
could this be a Dontrell Inman game
on that team?
And people, have been talking about Inman that much. They talked about him before in the season. Maybe he could show up. I don't know. I wouldn't start probably Tyrell maybe, but depends on what comes out of health.
I mean, Tyrell at least shows upside ability. Maybe not the floor that you want, but he can have those monster games. And Indy a couple weeks ago went big on Tennessee. So maybe San Diego could too.
Yep, I could see it. We all took the Chargers except for Alex took the Titans. Loves him some AFC South. Believe
yes. Give it to me.
For some reason, he just bashed him earlier in the.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's all right.
You sure, Alex, you don't want to switch your pick to the Colts?
No. Nope. Love it. I love my picks. My picks. I'm going. How many games are there?
I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever I know, that's what I'm
This
going.
this week there's 13 games.
Yeah, 13 of them.
13-0. I'm going 13-0 this week.
All right,
That
good
would
luck.
Bring you up to not even close
Yeah.
to Van
Hey,
Cleef.
that's
Ooh.
okay.
His record.
Oof.
I'm just gonna start inching my way up. I'm going. I'm coming.
That's
Here I
okay.
come.
Eventually, guys, we're just gonna have to take a break for a week and just
let Alex catch up.
Wow. Wow, guys.
Somehow get farther apart.
Wow. It's
Oh,
like somehow
no.
I got negative. How did that happen? I don't even understand.
Let's talk about the Sunday night game. Broncos at Raiders. Alex, I know you just wouldn't stop talking before, but I still want to talk to you about this game. You love the Raiders
Love them.
almost as much as you love AFC South teams.
AFC South and the Raiders. Why can't they just be a whole division? Love
Derek
it.
Carr's been hot. Murray Cooper's been hot. Broncos defense has been hot.
Mm-hmm.
What force pulls through in this one?
I think you're just probably gonna get kind of a mediocre day out of Carr. I think that that secondary is pretty robust, honestly. So I think that you're gonna have to curb yourself. If you think that he's gonna throw for 500 or even 400, probably not even 300. But
Yeah.
I think that he's still going to be able to get a couple of touchdowns out of that. It's kind of a hard start at this point. Like, you're kind of choosing between Crabtree or Cooper, but you've got to roll out Cooper. If you have Crabtree, I would start Crabtree too. Until one of them kind of tapers off or something, I would still roll them out. I think that Latavius Murray seems to be some sort of linchpin in that offense, even though he's not very good. And I don't understand why. They do better when he's running the ball. I don't understand why his 48 yards is any different from any of the other, Jalen Richard or Washington. I don't know what makes them different, but for some reason it is.
Yeah. And I loved Latavius Murray coming into the season. And it's just been, obviously the Raiders don't know what they want, but I think they wanted Washington or Richard to step up, and they're just not. Like you said,
yeah.
Murray knows the offense. He knows he's not bad. He's not great.
He's probably good for a rushing touchdown as well. So,
yep.
Yeah,
he's not going to get the volume that you want to see. Out of your running backs, you want to see 20 touches, and it's going to be a stretch for Murray to get that for you. But he might score. So,
yep.
I feel like Devontae Booker would be a much better play if he wouldn't have got hurt a little bit banged up. I think people would just be drooling, to see him get out there again.
Yeah.
But
and I mean, honestly, if you have him, for me especially, I'm missing David Johnson this week, and I'm discussing starting two running backs from the same team. So, basically all of my running backs are week 9 bye. I mean, I'm still pretty confident in Devontae Booker. I think that he'll do just fine. Much softer defense for the run. So I'd definitely wheel him out, and not much behind him. So I mean, with C.J. Anderson, you were concerned about Booker. With Booker in there, you're not really concerned about anybody behind him. So I think that that's another thing that you can kind of hold on to with Booker, is that there isn't somebody up. I apologize. I forgot. Stud.
Hey, Brent, real quick. Emmanuel Sanders or Demaryius Thomas? Have to pick one.
Against Oakland, give me Demaryius Thomas.
Yep, big play potential. Why? Or
yeah, I mean, Oakland's passing defense has been a lot better in recent weeks. I know they started off terrible in the beginning of the season, but right now it seems like Demaryius doesn't get most of his production until the fourth quarter, it seems, but Simeon likes to go to him. He still likes going to Emmanuel Sanders too, don't get me wrong.
Does.
But I kind of like both guys in this matchup, but give me Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, I think they're both startable, but I like that too. I like Demaryius a little bit more. We all took the Broncos. So
there's another quarterback that I think needs to be sat down, because I don't know. Simeon? Yeah. It's just I don't know.
I don't think he's done enough to lose the job. So
no,
but kind of rolling with what it's been.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but like I said, we all took the Broncos, so we think it's going to happen for him. Monday night game, Bills at Seahawks. Russell Wilson has turned into a pocket quarterback. Saw
Can't
something.
even say that though. He hasn't had a
Well,
touchdown in 4
yeah.
weeks.
True.
Jesus.
He has not run this season, and that's what you were counting on for him, is getting those rushing yards. We talked about it earlier in the season. Like, you're counting on 400, 500 yards at least, and I think Tom Brady has more rushing yards than Russell Wilson this year. So, are you giving up on him then? Because he started slow last year.
I mean, he started slow last year, tale of two halves almost. I just feel like you almost have to just hang on to him, even though he's easily droppable right now. You could drop him so easy and pick up someone, but
so hard
it's
to do
harder
that.
to drop him for name value because you know what he can do, you know his upside, and you know he did it last year where he just came out firing, throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, having 100-yard rushing games. So I don't know. I wouldn't drop him though.
Yeah, he hasn't been right, but I've picked him up in a couple leagues because people are dropping him. So people are off that. Bills wise, Tyrod Taylor been fairly mediocre. Doesn't have anybody to throw to.
Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin.
They need Sammy Watkins back so bad.
Percy.
No.
I want Percy Harvin all day long.
I read an article.
Can you count on Sammy Watkins at all anymore, though?
This season?
Anytime, even next season.
Sammy Watkins? Yeah.
He's injury prone.
That's half the league.
I don't know.
I mean, but if you see his track record, it feels like. I mean,
is it that bad?
Well, I mean,
yeah, I was thinking. This season's been bad, but last season wasn't too bad.
He was injured last year,
was he?
But I don't know. I wouldn't be dropping him. I'd be holding on because I think once he comes back, and they've been cautious with it. It was worse than I think they thought it was going to be, and they just said there was really not much they could do with him as far as moving him along the season. So I think that's been the right move, is not trying to get him to force him to play through it. But Tyrod's been pretty good on his legs. We talked about Russell Wilson not being able to run. Tyrod Taylor is a good running quarterback. Yeah. He's good for 40 yards a game, I feel like, which if he get in the end zone with his legs, I'm fine with that. I know it's in Seattle. Their defense hasn't been the same as years past. I don't know if you really feel good about any Bills this week, though. Even LaShawn McCoy, if he ends up being fine like they're thinking he's going to be, I don't know if you really feel great about it.
Yeah. The Bills were exciting, and then slowly but surely they're just kind of becoming the Bills. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So we all took the Seahawks except for Alex took the Bills. So,
go Buffalo.
Matt Ryan just threw another touchdown to Julio Jones. So
Julio.
32-14. It is turning into a blowout. My Buccaneers pick is looking horrible. But that is our last preview game for Week 9. Want to talk about our DK lineups just for a few minutes. I've been dominating. I think that it's clear that I'm the best DFS player out of the four of us.
For crying out loud.
Of all time.
Are you guys ready to give me I'm basically killing it, earning about $5 a week right now.
Okay.
I'm about to quit my job.
Okay. Right now, there's only 2 people that have won our DK league. There are 4 of us, and there have been 6 weeks, and there's only 2 winners. Get it together, guys.
Has there really only been 6 weeks?
Yeah. Because you won 4 and I've won 2.
I feel like I've won way more. I just feel like I've been dominating. But this week, Alex, who are you starting at quarterback?
Honestly, I'm stacking up. I said this before. I'm stacking up Tannehill and Landry. I really like the matchup against New York. This is probably the only time that I would ever want to stack that, and honestly, don't feel great about it. But at the same time, I have a Jai in there too. I'm just expecting Miami to be amazing this week.
You love Miami.
I'm loving some Miami this week.
That's okay. I think you could do worse. Paying down at quarterback this week kind of opens you up. You want to spend money on those running backs. Van Cleve, if you're not spending money on running backs, who are your guys?
If I'm not wanting to spend,
Yeah. Are you spending up this week? I guess I should ask because I don't know who you're starting.
It just depends on. I mean,
I did that exactly what you're saying, Romine. I didn't find any value across the board at the lower end of a lot of these, so I kind of went with a bigger stack. I went with the Drew Brees and Brandon Cooks against San Francisco, and then I kind of paid down in the mid-tier range for a running back, and then yeah, that's what I did. I just chose some of the higher tier guys.
What running back mid-range did you go with?
I think I had Charkandrick West in there, which might change if Spencer Ware is going to be playing.
Yeah, if Spencer Ware doesn't play, I think that's an easy plug-in.
I mean,
I think the option for Tim Hightower was in there, but I mean that's all speculation right now. So we'll see what happens.
There are some good values. There's not a lot. You want maybe Starks. You get there's Sproles. Hightower is like he was saying. I think there's a couple there. Other than that, go ahead.
Terrence West at 4,700 against the Steelers, against the Steelers. I mean, Terrence West hasn't been money by any stretch, but 32nd ranked.
Yeah,
I mean that's a pretty good. Worse. Yeah.
So,
Brent,
there's not a lot of good matchups with higher ones. I mean,
with running backs,
unless you want to pay top dollar like Elliott and stuff.
So that's how I've been building my lineups this week. Is I'm doing Elliott and Bell, and then working my way around there and figuring out how to make it work. And I've been liking my teams. I think there's a lot of good middle wide receivers that you can add in there.
Mm-hmm.
Brent, other than you said you were stacking Cooks with Breeze, who else you got in there with your wide receivers?
I don't know because my phone just died.
You.
Well, here's one thing. I was really condemning the Eagles, but I'll tell you one thing, and I've told people forever, always bet on the Eagles against the Giants.
Yeah.
And the reason is just for the most part, they've had the Giants number for a better part of a decade. And so I've got Jordan Matthews in there, really good, 7,500. And then on the other side of that, I've got Emmanuel Sanders as well, just around 6,300. So, I mean, like you said, there are some good, like kind of middle tier wide receivers that I'm really looking at.
Yeah, Dante Moncrief, I've been having in all my lineups. I love him this week. Tight end, anybody got one that?
I'm going to Doyle.
Doyle, I love him.
I actually think that he could be potentially a good target.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about with Doyle, with Moncrief back, I think that takes away from Doyle quite a bit. Makes me worried.
But isn't Green Bay's secondary back to full strength now?
I mean, is their full strength really that good?
It was decent.
Sam Shields is decent, but I don't know.
I'm just saying if they're running, because they're tough against the run game and stuff.
Yeah, so their run defense is really good.
So they may have some underneath routes that they may be able to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Doyle's produced this year.
Yeah.
When I was
better than Dwayne Allen.
When I
would say Barnes, but Barnes is spiked up as far as his price goes. So I wouldn't.
I was flipping through and I accidentally hit Colby Fleener, and then if that ever happens on anything, I always leave the player in because it's like idle hands are telling me what to do. So I picked Colby Fleener. Didn't mean to, but it's there. I'm not changing it.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that either. I think that's a pretty good start. Any defenses out there? I'm rolling Chiefs in a lot of leagues. Just
Panthers.
Yeah,
I went with the Packers.
Yeah, I've started the Packers in a couple too. God, we're hating the Colts lately, Brent.
I actually hate them Colts. Actually, I'm going with the Eagles. I know they're going with the Giants, but it's actually a good price. And
they're special teams.
Just like Alex said, don't bet against the Eagles against the
Yeah.
Giants. So, and I think that they could be able to just get after Eli.
Yep. But yeah, so that's our DFS lineups. I look forward to winning another $7.20 this week. It's been padding my
No, it's
my
my
bank
turn.
account.
It's my turn to win. It's my
Rolling
turn
up.
to win.
But thanks for joining us, guys. As always, we appreciate you listening. Appreciate the emails. Follow us on Twitter, 4horsemenpod. Send us emails, 4horsemenpod@gmail.com. We'll see you around the same time next week. Peace.
Peace.